Hi everyone, I'm Laura Aguiar, and I am selecting Chapter 3, which is Perception. What you see is what you get. This is what I summarized it over this chapter. Pretty much Chapter 3 is about how people gets to decide what to believe in, what to hear. Like, there's so many factors you could put into a person's story or whatever the topic they're talking about. Though each person ends up having their own perspective what other person says, what causes either conflict or a bigger bond, depending on who is the person and how long they've been knowing each other. This is the media I am going to be selecting. This video is called The Simon's Cat Chat, and it's pretty hilarious and it doesn't last that long. It's pretty much almost a minute, but it isn't. Alright, let's watch. It's a shame you can't hear the audio, but they're not even saying words, so you're good. There it is. I know it's a shame you guys can't hear the audio, but based on their facial expressions and their body language going on, we could get started with the terms. Though, we're not going to be focusing on their expressions or any of the sort. But you get the key idea that is sort of references another chapter. But we're sticking with chapter 3, which is what you see is what you get. Here is the first term I had selected, which is selection. I defined it as as the book would say, it's the first stage that a person decides what to take in and what to remember. And it's sort of like I'm going to ignore you starting now and remember whatever I think is much more necessary for me. It's that kind of format. And the media within the video begins when the cat starts to look at the bee and sort of goes wandering around. Not like literally go to another place, but like his mind, his mentality, his listening skills has lowered and he's thinking about himself now. Even with this image, you could see that he's staring at the bee. Like, he has more interest towards the bee than to his friend, the hedgehog. In personal experience for myself, I I mostly deal with this first stage whenever I'm getting some kind of lecture that is something that I already heard of before, or it's rather very repetitive and I don't want to hear anymore. So this is where selection comes in. The example I provided is my mom, since I'm pretty sure everyone could agree that there's always a moment where moms in general would say the same thing over and over again, but you just don't care, or you already tried, but you don't want to do it again. That's that's what I went for with selection, and that's what the cat was doing as well. Now for the second term. The second term I selected is narrative. Narrative is pretty much like a storyteller, and the hedgehog was trying to be a narrative. Like, throughout the video, he was trying to talk to the cat, like over some kind of subject that we don't even know. But with our imagination, we could see that the cat is interest, and he's sort of looking around. But the hedgehog was the narrative throughout the whole video. The the example I'm providing with personal experience is my brother. He always watches YouTubers that's very narrative and has some kind of very interesting ideas. For example, he watches this Phase. I'm not sure who exactly, but someone in Phase who does scary videos or whatever. Like, I don't know, but something scary, and it always grabs people's attention. I don't even watch Phase, and whenever my brother watches that, it gets my attention. Though there's moments where I just listen to few things. Once again, selection. Few things that I'm into, and few things I'm not. But once something interesting happens, like the pranks, I begin to have a mind blown and start to hear what the narrator is saying within that channel. So yeah, that's the second term. Now for the third term, it is negation. In reality, there's not so much actual negation, but the appearance, what the. Ugh, man. Negation is pretty much like when two people talk something out over a theme or something they want in common, but they have to work through it, something like that. But like that's pretty much negation how it's being defined it and used it as. While the media in the video from 0.36 to 38, there's a silent that was broken in the end of trust going on. From the images I provided from the top, it shows that the cat's like, look out, there's something going is going to come, and the hedgehog was like having sympathy or empathy, one of those two, or both in one, or some other emotion, and it's like, I'm not sure what's the emotion I'm looking for, but it's like he trusts the cat. Like there's danger coming, so he turns. But it turns out to be a prank, which the cat makes fun of. This negation, these images, these scenes, is negation to me since it involves a perspective to trust and hear another person's word choice, and the cat took advantage of it, and the hedgehog obviously feels like distrusted. Now, for personal experience for me, would be me and my sister. We always try to find things that we could both agree on. Like, for example, she wants to hang out with me, but I have homework to do. So I make a deal with her, and she would either agree or disagree, and it would be like, hey, why not this instead? Which is negation. Half the time we would argue, but half the time we won't, since negation has pros and cons, like what the cat did to the hedgehog. In conclusion, chapter 3 is all about a person to another person and how far they're willing to go with that other person, which leads to the many assumptions, interpretations, and how they were raised and how they're interacting to others, which causes either friends, enemies, acquaintances, opportunities, or misfunctions over everything. And it leads to a big reaction over sympathy and empathy, which gives out a big major role. Even the cat and hedgehog showed it how important empathy and sympathy is throughout the video. Even if I didn't explain it, but one could get the idea how empathy and sympathy gives out a role throughout the video and in real world. There has to be interest and have some kind of saying or doing involved with it. But other than that, thank you for listening.